Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Two Clicks from KO. I'm your host, Aaron, as always. Today, I do not have Aries with me, so I thought, what would be the most suitable replacement for a loud-ass dude from Connecticut? And I was like, let me get three loud-ass guys from the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, that's a good idea. So today I have joining. Well, Cory's not that loud, but
Yeah.
I have Cory.
Loud-ass dudes and Cory.
Thank you.
I have Cory, Chip, and Bryan guy from the Eaglecast podcast. What exactly is it called? That's right? Eaglecast podcast. These guys we're gonna talk about some stuff ROC related, just general Heroclix related. And we're probably gonna get pretty off topic, judging by some of the questions we got asked. So,
That's how our questions usually go.
So you guys have not been on our show before that I recollect. So for those who don't normally listen to your podcast, one of you guys just kind of break down what it's about and give like a nice synopsis of your show.
Yeah. So our podcast actually started as a joke.
It still is a joke.
It still is a joke, basically. But there were two competitive teams in the Northwest at the time, and a group of us had gotten together and we're like, wouldn't it be funny if we started a team too and just started a podcast to see if we could get more listeners than that other team's podcast? And I think we succeeded at that, and now we just keep recording. So, but no, the idea is basically like talk about competitive Heroclix, represent the Pacific Northwest, get a little bit more voice out there of what's going on up here. You know, like the whole West Coast seems to get lost a little bit in what's going on in Heroclix. And so we started really wanting to kind of shine a spotlight on what's happening in the Northwest. We were helping organize our own tournament scene for a while and doing some other stuff. And, you know, so now it's kind of evolved to, we talk about competitive clicks, we promote tournaments, and, you know, do what we can to promote what's going on the West Coast as a whole. And, just look at what's going on in the scene and help people out. We do a segment called Frittatas, which is just dumb rules questions that we found online and talk about them. You know, and like it's all for jokes, but it's also like just a great opportunity to kind of discuss rules and help people see like how we're going about figuring out how rulings work and stuff. So,
all right. So for those who don't know, so generally when and at least as far as Heroclix goes, I probably generally speaking as well, anytime West Coast is referenced, it's just assumed California, right? It's all California. You guys say Pacific Northwest, so, you know, a lot of people, you know, people are horrible with geography. Let's just be honest.
Oh, yeah, I'm one of them.
So
refer to everything east of the Rockies as the East Coast. So
yeah. So the Pacific Northwest is Washington, Oregon. What else is up there?
Idaho.
Also BC.
And Vancouver, BC.
Okay. So generally speaking, if you're talking about Pacific Northwest, that's the area we're talking about. So yeah, that's a pretty broad region actually. You know, for here you have California, which is a huge state. Most people don't realize is to drive from San Diego to Chico, which I think is our furthest north, our WKO. It would take you the same amount of time as to cross most of the eastern seaboard. Like it's like 7 states you would be driving through, and that's just California. So if you think about how big the West Coast is, and then you're just thinking of California, well, you have to add like another giant region on top of that as the Pacific Northwest. So it's pretty cool. I listen to you guys' podcasts. I listened to the last one especially, where you guys broke down our event that you came down to. Kind of gave Chip some crap for that one. I was like, wow, man, slammed, but I don't think anything was totally unfair.
It wasn't about.
Yeah.
It wasn't intentional. If it did come across as a slam, it wasn't the intent by any means. It was just observing the differences, and then also we got the first time to recognize names we've gotten to see that actually have traveled, as everyone likes to put it, to like the nationals and the worlds, and just to see how those individuals play. I don't know, like my expectations were very high. So
Mhm. Yeah, generally from my experience, playing against high level, competition it's not really much different than just playing any other normally good player. Like I've had some really close games with people who like I've never heard of, and I've blown out people who like are very well thought of in the Clicks community. So like I feel it's my feeling that there's good players everywhere. There's different ways to play the game. I know like where I play when I run events, I do encourage people to be like courteous and maybe not such a stickler on like, well, you said this and now you have to do this or that, but that being said, like, there's some fine lines you need to draw too. So it's interesting. It is definitely interesting to see different styles of play. I've been to events where the guy's like, well, these everybody there's a rules lawyer, and I'm like, well, this is just gonna be a fun day, because I can be a real asshole too when I want to play when I want to be. So it's always fun.
and I just want to touch on one more thing, Aaron, before we get totally off that subject.
Sure.
You ran it really well. You did
Yeah.
make your announcement about calling everything out, just to be very clear to the listeners that have listened to our podcast. And the event itself was ran really fast, really smooth, and the venue actually had plenty of room, and the AC worked, so thank God for that.
Yeah. The AC is always good. It's always good to have, especially even with the AC on, there was some funk going around that I smelled. Not too happy about that, guys. I'm not calling out any names, but if you listen to the show, anytime someone asks for advice for conventions or whatever, one of my top things is always take a shower, wear deodorant, brush your teeth. Like, those are my top 3 things about going to big events. Take a shower, brush your teeth, wear deodorant. And a perspirant deodorant, preferably. Anyway, let's get into some questions. Let's see here. Zach Strong wants to know, why does Chip always beat me?
It's a mystery, Zach.
That's a mystery to me, Zach.
Yeah.
Really liked your Double D team. He ran a double Duke team last at our WKO. It was awesome. And Zach's a really good guy, so.
Yep. My tightest game of that WKO was against Zach in top 8, because I just could not figure out. Like most of the teams I played, it was like, all right, I can probably just stomp your entire team. Yeah. But that team, it was just so hard to take out. So we played positioning for like the first 20 minutes of our match. Zach's a good player, man. And he's getting better all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's cool to see. He's progressed a ton.
Yeah.
I know Zach playtests with Jesse Cote on Roll20 pretty regularly. And if I'm sure it's not just me, but he's always in my inbox, like, hey, what do you think of this team? What do you think of this team? What do you think of this team? And like, it's cool, man. Like, or like with the Duke team, I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you, man. That's not something I would play. I'm not saying it's bad, but I wouldn't play it. I don't know what you want me to do with that team. So.
Well, the funny thing is, when we were playing against each other, he won the map roll. He chose a map, and then halfway through the map, he said the map screwed him over because Duke doesn't ignore terrain for movement, and there was all this hindering. So it was just like in water, it totally boned those dupes. So.
Cory's falling asleep over here. What's going on, Cory?
No, this is what he does.
This is normal, Cory.
So he does? All right.
Yeah, I guess I could add to this. When you play Chip, you just have to be serious. Don't be super comical with him. That's how I beat him in the last WKO. So Just
You either go super serious or you try very hard to derail him.
Yeah.
Completely.
And obviously it worked because I beat him this last couple times. So
Zach, here's how you beat Chip. Every time he damages you, tell him to take Mystics damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you have Mystics. You're just angling to see how far you can get Chip off.
A straight face, that's all you get.
Well, the best part is I did that accidentally in California against Steve.
No. Yeah.
And I told him, take Mystics. And he was about to, and I was like, no, don't do it. Yeah. It's a joke. That's what happens when you have a play group like ours.
Yeah. Cory, speaking of beating Chip, I know you recently won a winning map also, right? You got the that new what's it called? Stupid King's Tomb. That map's so stupid.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
As soon as Chip told us that, we got a winning map and it's for that, I was like, all right, I want this map. So yeah, I just built some cheesy ass stuff. That's what I did.
We just need to keep winning so Chip doesn't get one.
There we go. That's right. But yeah, that's I took out Chip. It was kind of sad because like when you get Chip to the point where he was, and I just started feeling bad for him. I was like, dang it, sorry, dude.
Can't feel bad for him.
I think I noticed Chip starts to kind of slow down towards the end of the tournament. Like the beginning, maybe round 1, he's like kind of like iffy, kind of figuring his team out. Rounds 2 through 4, he's like pretty good, and then like I can really see like as the pressure mounts, Chip's just like I can see him grinding his gears. Just, the smoke starts coming out of his ears and everything. Oh man, this is
Jesse. I don't know if you saw Cory and I just like stomping back and forth over like, why is he doing this?
Why did he pick that map?
The map was fine. It's just I played like a moron.
Yeah, you did.
Because previously I played Jesse, but I put him through the ringer with that team because we all played the same team when we played Jesse, so he kind of knew exactly how to take it apart. And Chip didn't see what I was doing to like extend it out further and how to take apart that team that he was running. But
Still good.
Yeah, Jesse's a sneaky good player too. Like a lot of people, more people know who he is now because he's actually been doing a lot of traveling. I know he's been up there for some of your events. He's gone out to Ohio for just for WKOs and stuff like that. So now that he's traveling a lot and he's winning, like he won a WKO in Ohio with Patrick Frazier, PJ Bolin, and I believe Dan Powell all in the WKO, and he took that one down.
Attaboy.
So for those who don't know who those people are, Patrick Frazier just won the U.S. National Championship this year. Daniel Powell's 2-time ROC champion, I guess we'll just call it. And then, because it's something different now, I think. And then PJ Bolin's the Canadian national champion from last year. So
the Michigan Canadian champion.
The Michigan Canadian champion. Yeah. I know the Canadians have the same problem we do, where it's like, that's not even anywhere near where everybody else can go play. It's like, I'm like, dude, don't even talk to me about that. For us to go to anything, like, I think I was having this argument with Kenny Pena. We were talking about like, just where events are and things like that. And I was like, do you realize that most of the people you're talking about can just drive to every major event like within a few hours? And he's like, well, why is that a big deal? I go, dude, if I wanted to drive to an event, I'd have to literally drive through the largest fucking mountain range in all of Northern America, if not one of the largest in the world. Like, it's freaking huge. The Rockies are like crazy to drive through. So
yeah, I was looking at driving to Columbus, and it would have been like 2 days straight of driving, of like two of us trading off and like sleeping weird shifts just to drive out there.
It was 14 hours just to get to your event.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think Landers took the bus one time to Columbus. I swear, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he said it took him 11 days.
Oh my God!
On the bus. I was like, I would just kill myself.
Yeah,
I can't
go at that point.
I cannot do 11 days on a Greyhound bus, dude.
I'll tell my team I quit. Like, I'm not gonna travel for these teams. Whatever rules.
That's crazy.
I have to pick up Cory to get him to go across Portland.
Yeah.
That's because he doesn't own a car.
Bum.
It's like Steve and Tony. Those guys get rides everywhere. It's hilarious.
Do it.
That's funny because they won a game show, right? They won some game show. They won like a bunch of money. And they're like, we're gonna buy a car. And then I was telling them about coming up for win a map that I had a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Man, I go, but our car sucks." I was like, "What happened to the game show car?" They're like, "That is the car." I was like, "All right, never mind." It's funny. Jesse Cote says, now that erratas have been passed down from the inner circle, what's the best way to repurpose dozens of Rikers? Asking for a friend. So I don't even know what this character does. I'm gonna have to look it up.
It was gross.
Oh man,
Oh
so
my gosh.
yeah, Cory, you should tell him
Yeah,
this.
you
No
talk
way.
about
You
this.
talk about this because I was messaging these guys about it.
So I didn't know anything of it for like the last, I don't know, when the set came out. And then Chip was like, "Hey," he posted it into the Eagle chat, and he was like, can I do this?" And it was like Riker gets, every time one of those Rikers, I guess,
It's TK'd.
when he gets TK'd, you can place another Riker from the sideline.
Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts on click 1, 2, or 3. I think he has like enhancement, empower, and prob. So every time you TK place that guy, you can pop another one out. So
But it didn't even say that. It didn't even clarify. You could like have, so it's a sideline.
Right. It was a sideline active trait.
Yeah,
and
active trait.
so like basically it allowed you, before the errata, you could have 9 on your sideline, TK Commander William Riker, bring in all 9, make attacks with like a bunch of enhancements, and then use your last action to move away with Riker and drop them all off the board, and then do it again the next turn.
Or TK him multiple times, or like TK him out, drop a bunch of Thomases, do a call in. I mean, it was endless.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was the most broken game mechanic yet.
Yeah.
didn't you have Cosmic also?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Commander Riker.
And so,
yeah.
so anyways, they errated it to make it now once for all characters with this trait.
Oh, okay.
Once
Yeah.
per turn.
Yeah, once per turn for all characters with this trait. So no more bringing in 9 Thomas Rikers from your sideline, which Chip was very excited about.
Well, the funny thing is, I had 7 of them in my in basket
It sounded
In
like
basket.
or whatever.
It sounded
the cart.
Shop-
it sounded like
Shopping
Steve had that also. Steve DeCarlo already did that as well, so that was hilarious.
But I didn't end up hitting the purchase button though. I got sidetracked. I got it. So,
So, like-
I didn't make the purchase.
So what rarity is that?
It was uncommon.
Uncommon. So you would need either the Fast Forces Commander Riker or the
Or the
rare.
weird new one.
Yeah.
There's a
That would
chase
make
too, right?
The episode.
There's a chase. There's a chase Riker too, right?
No, he's mirror.
I just,
Oh,
Yeah.
mirror. Yeah.
yeah, I just love this new Chip that's all about Star Trek.
Yeah, like where did this chip come from?
Because
all
like when
of a
the
sudden-
original series came out,
Oh, fuck
He's-
the-
He's
this
just
guy-
that old,
No.
guys. Like
Oh,
he's
Star
just that
Trek.
old.
yeah,
And
he
now he's like, Q from this episode, this
Yeah.
is exactly like
yeah, Chip
Commander
just had
Riker
this
was.
ginormous 12 o'clock
Yeah.
going on. Like, what? Who are you, dude?
You've got to understand, Chip's just that old.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sure
I am.
he is that old.
Like when he said Q, like I saw Chip post Q. I was like, dude. I was like, that is Q. I was like, oh wait, I don't like that Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Commander Riker, have any of you seen that like super clip of Riker sitting down?
Oh yeah.
Where he like steps over the top of the chair.
Mhm.
It's all about masculinity, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's not bad turnaround on that errata though, if you really think about it. That set released this week, and they've already kind of neutered that. So
Inner Circle.
inner circle, baby. Let's see. This next one must be from one of your guys. Jason Carr says, "F Mary
Is it
Kill,
Carr? Sorry.
F Mary Kill, hashtag Basic Chip, hashtag Clicks Mom, or hashtag Clicks Mule." With explanations why. So I don't know what any of those mean.
Hey, where's Clicks MILF?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Clicks
that
Milf
was-
is the new one.
That's hot right now.
Yeah. So it's Clicks Mom, Clicks Mule, and what was the other one?
Basic Chip.
Oh, Basic Chip.
Oh,
Basic Chip.
Yeah. Basic Chip came from a meme that one of the guys from Spokane posted talking about how IPAs are pumpkin spice lattes for white dudes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and so then I, out of that, was like, Basic Chip.
And then Click's mom.
Oh, Click's mom. You can explain Click's mom, Cory.
He's just
You guys have to understand, these are not our
Yeah.
your normal listeners. So
That's true.
So we're all a part of the team, the Eagles.
Mm.
Yeah, Chip just takes care of us. He's our Clicks mom. So he has orange slices for us when we go to tournaments. He has granola bars. So yeah.
Usually beers afterwards.
Oh,
because
yeah.
He's a cool mom.
Yeah, he's like, hey, too bad you didn't make top 8. Here's a beer. Here's a sticky hand. So yeah.
Cory's used to that.
Not anymore.
Wow.
Not anymore. I know I have to be Chip, so it's going to go. It's going to change.
he's the mom that invites everyone over to drink at their house. That way, at least she knows where they're at.
Yeah.
And that's-
Parenting at its finest.
So yeah, Click's Mule is our third nickname for Chip, and it's just Chip gets hit up by like 15 different people at every tournament to borrow pieces because he owns everything.
Which he's happy to do. It's not
Yeah.
like he's hating
Yeah.
it. He's like, yeah, I got it.
No, he gets mad if people borrow from other people because
Oh, yeah.
people will start hitting me up for pieces, and then Chip will be like, "I had that. Why didn't they ask me?"
I get asked like the morning of events whenever I host them. I'll have like Tony and like Jeff. They're like, "Hey, can you bring this?" I'm like, "Bro, like you could have asked me last night, like what I gotta leave in like 20 minutes."
Yeah, we have APB for that.
Yeah, the Albatross will ask you 10 minutes before a tournament, like, "Hey, do you have this?" Like, Andrew, how do you not have a team built already? And then he'll still make the top 8
Yeah.
because
he's
that
an
dude is some
He's
sort of
pretty
savant.
He's pretty good. I've played him. He's pretty
Yeah.
So all right, so apparently, so if I had to kill one, that's gonna be Click's Mule because apparently letting people borrow stuff is bad for the game. And then Click's mom's the obvious Mary, right? Because you want like someone to take care of you, treat you nice and all that stuff. And then the F has got to be Basic Chip, right? Because it's just kind of like a side piece you can get rid of.
Yeah, I like it.
I think that.
Are you allowed to curse on your podcast?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, honestly, I think I've kept it pretty PG so far.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm also aware that my kids
Oh,
are
yeah,
like,
yeah.
running
Yeah, that's
around,
also-
so-
I mean, we're not, we're not like Scott Crampton, where you're gonna
Well,
make
we get pretty
pedophile
soft.
jokes every other.
Yeah,
every
we don't
other-
have Daniel to tell to shut the F up over and over.
Yeah.
So
Jason also says like, what was your worst clicks experience, and are you still salty about it?
ooh.
So who wants to go first? Cory?
Mine was when I first came out here. I played in the Oregon State whatever event, and I played this motherfucker, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw this tank at you." Because we went to underground caverns.
You took us there.
Anyways, we went there. He threw the tank, and he's like, "Oh, I can't place your jet," because I was running a Blackbird, and he was like, "I can't place your jet," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "So that's off the board, so you lose that." And I was like, I don't know anybody at this other than Bryan who gave me a ride, and I met Chip once because I played at his venue, and that's how I met Bryan. So, anyways, he was just like, "Yeah, so it's gone," and I was like,
It's not exactly how it went.
I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
we called the judge over. Judge, everybody tried to look and find what it should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah, Judge came and interrupted my game,
yeah, 'cause
and I
Bryan-
was like flying by the seat of my pants trying to stay in the top 8. So I was like, I don't know, leave me alone.
and he's like, "Yeah, just get
Yeah,
rid of
just
the jet."
whatever Chip says, probably right.
And then we're like, "But what about Cyclops? Does he
Yeah.
go away too?" And then Brian's like, just let him have it or something. So at least I got an angry Cyclops out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
And then after the game, I got the whole thing explained to me, and I was like, oh, Chip ripped that dude
Yeah,
off
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And I had a headache, so I left and made Cory ride home with Chip after that game, too.
Yeah, and that's how we get friends with Chip.
Wow. That's awesome.
What it was is, so when the tank was dropped, there was no legal square to place the bird on that map.
Because all the blocking.
Because all the blocking.
You go to the closest legal square.
Yeah.
Well, we know this now.
Yeah, well, I knew it then.
But a lot of people didn't know what
Yeah.
they did. Even on other podcasts, not to really name them, didn't know. And they're really well
name
known.
names.
Yeah.
Name names, Chip.
Well, even Pat, then, fine, on the
Yeah, there you
Majestics
go.
podcast, didn't know.
Mm.
It was even brought up in the Majestics podcast. He said he didn't know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, like that's one of those weird things where like, unless you're like a rules guy, Bryan, you're kind of like a rules guy, I'm not really a rules guy. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. So how I judge events is beyond me. But unless you're like really hardcore on rules, like that's something I could see you not knowing. But yeah, I don't know.
It was found like in rule of occupancy or something. That's where it went. That's where we found it at. So, but yeah, that was my salty event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had it right home.
Are you still salty about it?
Oh, I bring it up every chance I get. So yeah,
You still made top 8.
Chip's never gonna live it down.
But we were in Swiss.
No, that was it. You doomed him for the rest of the
He was in top 8.
Sounds like Chip's salty about it too.
Yeah.
No, okay, so.
Because I bring it up all the
No,
time.
here's the best thing though. It just goes to show, even when you're good at the game and you know a lot about the game, anyone can make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, human error is huge in this game.
Right. We talk about that all the time with frittatas on our show of like, I mean, even like two of us who do a lot of judging and like rules stuff will miss rules in the moment because there's just so much that goes into this game, and being able to recall 100 different things at once is real difficult.
Yeah.
Well, and other things trigger other effects.
Yeah, because like when we were playing at your event, I kept asking you all these weird questions when I was playing Chip.
Mm.
The whole, does this well get to destroy this thing or whatever
On different
on different elevation and everything?
Mm.
You're like, I don't know. Like it took us a while to figure it out, but it didn't really impact. But it's just this weird rule stuff.
Well, that was like the last tournament, the Whiskets Open that we played in, where we had that question about like two special objects in the same square in line of fire. And I asked the judge, and the judge was like, you don't know the answer? I don't know what it is then.
What was the
I
question?
would have asked you. Cory had put two special objects in the same square, and I was like, can I TK the bottom object, or can I only see the top object? And we ended up determining that you could see both. But it was one of those like situations that like so rarely comes up that nobody had any idea in the moment of what was the case there.
You TK anyone.
Yeah, that was what we decided.
Yeah.
So I shot one and TK'd the other. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Cory still ended up winning that game and just about hosing me out of the tournament.
Oh my gosh, I would have won that stupid thing.
See the love we have for each
I
other.
do.
All right.
I do.
Worst Heroclix experience. I don't know if this is really the worst, but it's the freshest in my mind, so I'm going with this one. And it was playing against Chip in California at your venue in that tournament we traveled down to when we faced off in the top 8.
So that was Sunday, right?
Yeah, on Sunday. We're running the same build, and Chip one roll off. I played it weird. He set up a Mangog bomb on me, and I missed shape change and super senses, and he just rolled above an 8 3 times in a row. And we get to resolving the second attack, and I go like, wait, Lord Chaos Master Order can't be targeted by these because of his trait. And Chip goes like, it's too late. It's already done.
That's not how that went down.
No, that's basically how it went down. I was like, you can't do this. You're like, nope, it's already happened.
It was like, that is not how that went down.
No,
but okay.
It is.
It was like that
so
scene in 300. This will not be quick. You will not enjoy it.
Yeah. So as soon as our game is over, I text David on our team, and I'm like, man, fuck Chip's dice.
Oh man.
I was pretty salty about that for like the next couple hours,
Yeah.
which is particularly why I was mad at Chip when he was playing like an idiot in the championship against Jesse.
Yeah. My worst clicks experience was probably, I don't know what year it was, but it was at ROC in Newark, and it's like the last round of Swiss, and I'm playing against a guy, and I'm playing a Tachyon, Highfather, or like a Highfather.
Oh yeah.
Greed, Omega Drive, and where I can get Tachyon on the map and stuff, Highfather. And so I'm playing against a guy, and I have Green Battery. And I'm playing against a guy, and he's playing Brother Voodoo, Zombie Super Scroll, Green Battery, and, a couple others, something else small. And he goes, we start off the game, and he's like, take it easy on me, I'm new. And I'm like, well, I'm undefeated, and you're undefeated, and this is the last round of Swiss. And you're playing Zombie Super Scroll, Brother Voodoo, and a Green Battery. Like, I don't know how effing new you are, but, like, whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever. So we start playing, and so I'm placing my figures, and I go like that, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to go here. One square over. Nope, you placed it, and that's where it's going to be. And no. He starts calling the judge. He starts just, like, the whole game was like that, dude. And this guy's like, nope, you can't take it back. You can't take it back. And I was like, all right, dude, if that's how we're going to play, that's cool. You chose hypersonic speed with Super Scroll. That's your free action. You tried a hypersonic speed. Okay, you moved here. You don't get to attack because that's a free action at the time. He's like, well, I just won't go there then. I'm like, no, you moved here. You said it. You're going to go there. And it was just like, it was like the worst experience. And then the guy after the game goes and tells Pat, goes and tells the judge at the time, and then I've got Pat and the judge, and they're both like talking to me like, dude, don't be an asshole to these guys. They're new. You're gonna make them quit the game. I'm like, bro, I was not being it wasn't even the last round of Swiss. It was second to last. I was like, I wasn't being an asshole. This guy, I told him what happened, and they're like, yeah, I don't think so, man. I know how you are. And it sounded like. So then the next round, there's that guy plays as guy Paul Lau, and Paul is the nicest, coolest guy ever. Like, it's almost like playing Landers, like it's like he's just a cool guy, have fun, whatever. Paul leaves the game, he's like, man, fuck that guy. He's like, that guy's a fucking jerk, and this and that, and then Pat's like, oh, I guess he was a jerk after all. I'm like, I fucking we Pat and I still talk about that to this day, man. We're like, man, Jesus Christ. But that's probably like that was worse even than at Origins when a guy threw my line of fire string at me, like my retractable thing. He like literally threw it at me. I would rather have that 100 times than play that fucking guy again. It's horrible. But so yeah, I'm salty about it.
I guess my worst experience for a WKO would be against myself, seeing that you fuckers already attacked me.
Chip is everyone's worst enemy.
Yeah, well, I am my own worst enemy because it was a sealed event, and as everyone knows, I absolutely hate fucking sealed events.
You're terrible at sealed.
I am. So what ended up happening was I did the build sheet. I screwed up the build sheet. It doesn't get noticed until round 5. So by this wonderful individual, and who's not so wonderful, by the way. And instead of having the judge have to figure out, because I had already played 4 rounds, nobody had caught it, and what it was I was overbuilt by 16 points. I could have just taken off one of the smaller pieces, which was 16 points. It was that Hawkeye with 16 points. But instead of doing that, like we're in round 5 of Swiss, and I'm winning, and all of a sudden this guy throws this huge fit that I was cheating because I was 16 points over Bill, and instead of making a big deal for the judge, I just DQ'd myself. I looked at the judge, I said I DQ'd myself. I said I'm wrong my points, I've made it this far by an illegal build, I DQ'd myself, and I've been pissed about it ever since. So.
What was that?
That was up in Lacey.
Ago.
Yeah, it was in Lacey. And so ever since then, I've always triple checked my builds on a sealed event, just so that sort of situation doesn't happen again. And I was kind of nervous too, what the judge would have to do, because technically 4 other people had already signed off. Technically, the person I played signed off on the build sheet too. But instead of putting the pressure on the judge, I just DQ'd myself. So
does a judge not check sheets there?
I mean,
I understand it's sealed, but
yeah, it was so long ago, to be honest, Aaron. I can't recall.
Yeah.
But I just made the call and looked at the judge and said I just DQ myself, and left it at that. So
that's fair. Oh man. Well, speaking of all these ROCs and WKOs and all that stuff, did you all see the Rock kit update for pricing?
Well, I saw it. I found a few things interesting about it.
Like what?
Well, first off, like if you were proactive and already put your orders in, like you're not going to get one of those new kits.
Correct.
So like say like somebody like Gun Guy, where we try to like have 3 months out of knowing.
Sharing screen.
Yeah. Okay. So like we try to have our winner maps well known so we can advertise them, get people in. Well, technically, if you read that, like we're going to get penalized because we're so proactive.
Yeah. So it says to clarify. It says today we announced changes in the ROC kits. This was earlier this week, I believe. It says these changes will occur for all kits purchased today going forward and scheduled from August 10th onward. So that's kind of ambiguous wording, but they did already in the Facebook post say, like, if you already ordered it, you're probably not getting the stuff. Kits bought prior to today and scheduled before August 10th or may or may not be affected contingent on when we receive the new pricing from WizKids. We anticipate that to occur around the 1st of the month. Well, they already got the pricing this week, so we know that. I saw it on their page. And then they just go on to talk about a reduced cost for qualifiers at $200. There's less pricing in the kit. Maps, tokens, and dice have been cut in half. Okay, can we just agree that tokens and dice are cool, but we can like just lose that stuff, right? Like we don't need tokens and dice as pricing if like that's gonna make a big difference in cost and stuff. Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I'm good without that.
Well, so we got a really good buddy that has a laser cutter.
Mm-hmm.
And the quality, I don't know what the quality control that, Howard has or ROC has, but they just don't look good.
Yeah.
And the paint's bad. The etching doesn't look smooth. I mean, it's not something, I don't know. It's not desirable to me. I mean, we usually, they get passed out like whoever wants them at the end. Kind of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, usually they get passed on by all the top finishers because nobody wants them.
Nobody ever wants it.
So they go on to say plaques and top 8 pins have been removed. Again, the top 8 pins I don't care about. Plaques I think is kind of nice. Like I'm kind of bummed they pulled those. Like, but I understand. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I like the top 8 pins personally.
So this is for the qualifier kit.
Yeah.
Which like their explanation is wanting it to be something more in between a win map, which is low entry, and a regional, which is high barrier of entry. So I get a little bit of the logic on it. There's definitely some stuff that if I was the one making decisions, I would just drop. I just don't think that dice and tokens and stuff like that are enough of a like. It makes sense on a regional level to have a plaque. Somebody can brag about it. I mean, I still wish it was a wrestling belt, but plaques are a lot cheaper than a wrestling belt.
We used to give trophies. It's just, those were pretty pricey. I don't have as much help as I used to in that part. But I think plaques would be nice. Personally, I like them, but I've also had issues where we didn't receive a plaque for a kit we ordered, or I received a plaque in 2018 for 2017, and I was, like trying to get it swapped is kind of like pulling teeth. So I understand those issues. As Bryan, they explained kind of like what Bryan said. They want the qualifier to be an in between level of a winter map and a regional, which I think is pretty reasonable. So they go on to talk about the pricing. It says con exclusive pricing, more to be added later, but right now they have the Rogue WKO prize figure, Phoenix Force Stain, Ambrose Chase, which is going to be the poo-poo one of all of them, Lilandra, Kyle Rayner, and Bombshell Raven. And then special objects, I'm guessing these are replacing the ID cards. Will be Exospecs, Proxima Midnight Spear, Corvus Glaive, Spear, and then you've got Remaker, Zero, Influence, Spin, Spectral, Nightbringer, Demonic, and Incandescence Mandarin Rings. And then the bagged LEs will be Gladiator, Hussar, Manta, Black Dwarf, Isaac, Supergiant, The Flash, Reverse Flash, and Steve Trevor. And then as far as like bigger prizes, I'm assuming these will replace like the Blackbird and the Thanos Copter. We've got the 1 million BC Ghost Rider and the Batmobile. And then smaller con prizes, Lobo, Phoenix Force Magneto, and Dupe on motorcycle with Tiger. Venues running regional and state events will be allowed to purchase limited quantities of BibleCon exclusives for prizing, resell, or to keep. Venues running qualifier states or regionals may also purchase limited quantities or prize maps and battle royale maps to do so with what they wish. So I think that's good. It's about time we move over to some new pricing. I think I'm excited to have a chance at winning some of this stuff. Some of the stuff I've already had, especially but like the Mandarin Rings and Exospecs, I think is great because I know people still having trouble getting their hands on Exospecs. Mandarin Rings are going to be tough to get your hands on, for less than $20 right now. I think 15 to 20 is a pretty reasonable price range considering you have to go to nationals or worlds to get them. So just having another opportunity to get them, that's pretty good.
Yeah, those new rings are what I'm most excited for in the pricing. It's going to be a bit of a bummer for those of us that make it out to a lot of WizKids Opens if you end up with a prize kit that has like Remaker, Exospecs, and Proxima Midnight Spear.
Yeah.
But like those new ones, so excited to have a chance to get my hands on those. So,
and I am a little surprised that they already put the rings in.
Yeah,
that does surprise me because a lot of people were like, "No, they're not going to put those rings in. That'll be next year." So I'm glad to see those rings. I'm just curious on how many make it out this way though. They make the kits up. If all we see is Remaker rings, though, I'm gonna lose my mind.
So from what I know about how things are chosen, they basically have a shelf, and it'll be, Magneto, Kyle Rayner, whatever, in that order. And as kits are made, they just pull in order. So it's always the same order. It's just if this is your kit, boom, 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 throw those 4 in, those 8 in, whatever it is, and then ship it. Next one, boom, 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 ship it. So it's not like they're sitting there going, oh, this is going to Aaron, I'm going to send them this. Oh, Chip, F that guy, I'm going to send them this. That's not how they're done, from what I understand. So
yeah. I don't know. There might be a little bit of Chip, that guy.
It's if anything, it's more like David, F that guy. He doesn't like fat people.
David hates fat people. I asked him the other day how he deals with having a fat person on his Heroclix team.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, fat Indiana Jones up in here. He's like, it's a challenge.
Yeah. I know he had talked about on your guys' last show is like compared to the people I'm talking about, you're not fat or something. Like Jesus Christ, just dig that hole, buddy. Just keep digging. It's like, so now we've talked about what will be in the kits. Let's talk about what won't be in the kits. That so far they haven't announced this. So when we had our regional, it was the end of June, and much to Chip's delight, what was the prize map for our regional?
Fucking docs.
Fucking docs.
So here's what kills me. Your regional was like a day late or 2 days late from July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Late or early, excuse me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
From July. You know what would have been really awesome? To see that brand new map.
Yep.
You could have been the first to throw that map out and been like, look, if you guys would have shown up, look what you could have gone. But no, it was fucking docs.
Yeah, docs.
You know what's bad is like when I was first approached about running a regional, it was like December. It was the end of December, and it was like, "Oh, I want you to run a regional." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, what date do you think you could do it?" And I'm like, like right now? You want to know like right now? Oh, well, let me know. Get back to me. He's like, "Okay, cool." And it was like a week later. He's like, "So have you picked a date yet?" And I was like, let's do the last weekend of June. I'll just do that because there was like, I don't know. I haven't done it. It's literally Christmas week, like I spend time with my family. I haven't done any of this stuff. I'm like, if I pick that, I'll have the most amount of time to prepare, whatever else. And I totally didn't even think about the kit, like the map kit of all of it when I said that. But my thoughts were, I honestly expected to get like an exclusive map for regionals at the time. I know that wasn't announced, but it just made sense to me. States got their own maps. There's twice as many states as there are regionals, states and provincials. States get their own maps. Why don't regionals? Like that was like really bizarre to me.
And think about it this way too. If regionals had its own map, it gives you another incentive to run a regional.
Yeah.
Or to go to a regional.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of brought that up after the fact, and it wasn't like well received, but I think they're thinking about it. So, but yeah, I just think it was funny because that kind of put me into the conversation, and I won't say with who, but with other people, and I was saying like, I was kind of talking about this, and they're like, well, I was like, dude, states pricing compared to regional pricing is like a million times better. It's way off the charts better.
And it's cheaper.
And it's cheap. That's what I said. And it's cheaper. It's like $200 versus the regional kit's like what, 300, 350? I don't know what it is. Off the top. 350. So I'm like, why is that? Like, why you get booty pricing for regional and you get good pricing for states? And they're like, well, we don't, what about the amount of pricing? Maybe they don't have enough. This and that. I'm like, okay, so take it from states. Like, I don't care. Like, if you only have enough, doesn't it make sense to put it towards the events you have less of than the events that you have more of? And then somebody else was talking about, well, if you win a regional, you get entry into nationals. Like, well, what does that do for the guy that only played because it was like a 20-minute drive to his regional and has no way to get to nationals? And now the pricing that you gave him, like maybe at least if you gave me like grip, like if I want a Thor with the hammer, I can sell that Thor with hammer and whatever Connelly I got and pay for a flight, right? Like that's realistic. You gave me something that to me mean nothing. 100 points. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so we're having this discussion and they're like, hey, well, not everybody feels that way. I was like, I would say like 99% of people feel that way. And I was like, I would say it's closer to like 60%. I'm like, all right, let's find out. Huh?
That's still a majority.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, let's find this out. So I posted a poll on the Facebook page. And 98% of people who voted for actual physical prizes. It was 320 to 8 last I checked. 320 people would prefer to get physical prizing to 8 people who would prefer entries into these other events. And so, like, I don't know. For me, I just wish, and I've been saying this for years, kits are way cheaper than they used to be in the beginning of ROC, which is a plus. They are way better than they were, which is also a plus. But there's still like some, I don't know the right word for it, maybe like detachment from what players actually want, you know?
Yeah.
Now there's so many events. Like for me, I'll run a winter map all day. I'm not paying for a qualifier. I'm not paying, you know, like I'll run a regional, sure, but now I know I need to run at the beginning of the quarter instead of anywhere else in that quarter because I want to get the new map. And now you're telling me, oh, if you ordered the kit before August, you're gonna get old prizes, and if you order it after August, you're gonna get new prizes. So now I know. Well, when I'm ordering kits, I want to make sure I'm not ordering the end of August ever. I'm gonna order the beginning of September or something like that. You know, I don't know. It's a lot of disconnect, if you ask me. What are you guys' thoughts on all that?
Yeah, the rollover on when you ordered your kit kills me. It should be purely what is the date the tournament is being run.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like, and that should be the cutoff. And as soon as you announce new stuff, you should be moving to the new stuff. I don't know the finances behind it. I'm sure there's more complications than
Sure.
you think, but still, like, you're just like screwing people for supporting you by like saying, well, if you already ordered, then you get the old stuff.
Yeah.
Like, basically, you're saying, thanks for your business, but we don't care about you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think all of us here, like, we like the direction that The Rock has gone. We think that it's going in a healthier place. This isn't like we're trying to light The Rock on fire. This is we think there's room for improvement.
Correct.
Well, I mean, there's another subject I kind of want to hit on, but I don't want to get derailed yet. So,
Save
Go
it
for it.
no, I'm gonna bring it up, seeing that we're talking about it. But it goes back to like Aaron was saying. You know, you're getting punished for being proactive. I mentioned that before. You're proactive, you get punished, and I get it. Like they're trying to probably get newer venues that haven't bought into the system yet. You know, they're trying to make sure they're giving them an incentive. Like, hey, this is your first, you know, time running a WKO. Well, make it an incentive program then. You're a new shop. This is your first time running a Winham map or something. Throw them a bone. Throw them an extra LE or throw them an extra con or something. Like, it goes back to the whole, is it about the players or is it about making money? And what they have claimed, it's about the players. Well, take some positive, what was it called? When you say something negative, but take it as a positive feedback, but constructive criticism. Yeah. Take some constructive criticism about the way you're handling this. Mm-hmm. You're doing a great job, but there's still so much room for improvement. Yeah. And I guess, with that being said, I guess I'll bring up the one subject that just to no end will always piss me off is if I go into eBay and you just released a map, and before anybody gets their hands on it, you sell it on eBay, that pisses me off. That Tombs map sold on eBay for $135 shipped.
Who sold it?
Nobody had ran an event yet with it. And there it was. And who was selling it? ROC was selling it. That shit pisses me off. That's a prize map. Don't sell it.
It was Lucky Dice Store selling it then?
Yep. It was at ROC. I can bring it up if you want. I actually saved it.
I see it. I got it.
That shit pisses me off.
Seller Rock Product from Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely pretty agitating. I can see, you know, I've kind of brought that up before in the past. Like it's kind of tough seeing stuff being sold from the area where it's from. You know what I mean? That being said, you know, like to be fair, not everyone from Huntsville is the ROC. You know, Easton wins a lot. I know he sells his own stuff personally and things like that.
And I'm not coming down on the people. Mm-hmm. This is ROC selling an ROC product that they're putting for winnables.
Yeah.
They're selling it before anyone even gotten the map in hand. Now, if you tell me at the end of the year, ROC is sitting on a stockpile of these maps that they produced,
sure,
they were going to sell X amount, but they got them all stockpiled up and they want to sell them at the end of the year, go for it. Throw them on gamer mats or whatever you got to do to get rid of your inventory. I get that. Yeah. But don't sell a map before it's given out to the general public to be won.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's fair. Cory, got anything to weigh in on all this?
I agree with my teammates. They already hit it on our podcast. Like,
yeah, we're regurgitating.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking about RSC.
I think it's important though to talk about these things, especially like as someone who runs a regional, who runs winning maps. I would like to run qualifiers if the cost is worth it. I mean, I'm not. The qualifier and states are basically the same cost, right?
Yeah, by $25 difference.
$25 difference.
Yeah.
And states, I mean, granted, states is once to twice a year, right? There's supposed to be 2. But it's like I'm not running a qualifier more than twice a year, probably. Especially if I'm running a regional and I'm running winning maps. So again, that goes back to like the cost. So to me, it makes me wonder, like, well, what actual value or perceived value do you put on 100 WKO points? Because to me, they basically mean nothing.
Well, there's zero value to it. You can't.
Well, there's zero cost.
Yeah,
there is a value.
That's the value. The value is there is no value.
Yeah, there is no value to it, and I guess that's the other problem too. Once you because they say you can store up to 300, right? 300 points, WKO points. You get 300 points. All right, so 300 points technically would get you into the nationals of your choosing, because you could go to whatever one you want, and to worlds, right?
Yeah.
Well, for me, an incentive that just has come up recently is if I get 200 points, I can go to worlds and not worry about qualifying for it, which is a possibility for myself. But I don't think most people, that's not going to ever happen for most people, for most players.
Yeah, my thoughts are this too, and I know it's going to come off as like cocky or arrogant or whatever, and it's not really how it's intended, but it's like, if I'm good enough to earn 100 WKO points by winning a regional, I'm probably good enough to go to a grinder at Worlds and qualify for the last day. Like, I don't necessarily need those 100 points. Give me a physical prize I can either sell or keep, and just give me more opportunity to figure out a way to go.
Yeah.
And to some people's points, well, you could just budget different. You could sell, there's different things you can do. I know people pre-sell stuff to their friends and their, close by players to, make sure they have money for the trip. For me, that's not a risk I want to take. I'm not into the, hey, I'm going to pre-sell this, and then if I don't get it, I got to give you your money back. I'm not into all that either. So it's kind of tough, man.
Well, like the Magnetos this year, could you imagine if you had pre-sold a bunch of Magnetos and you weren't there on day one? You weren't filling those orders.
Yeah. Well, I got four Magnetos, and I gave them all away.
And that was awesome, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I still have mine. I'm going to keep it. So
that's cool. Let's see here. Anything else you want to talk about? I know you guys have some cool events coming up.
Yeah, we can transition to those. So we got the 2v2 happening at Gongai Games in Beaverton, Oregon. What the 2v2 is, it's a win-a-case. It's going to be at the end of September 28th. It's a Saturday, and
it's for X-Men.
It's for the new X-Men animated series. And just so people know, it's not like when we say 2v2, it just means you and Cory and I are a team. You play two separate games. We don't sit down and play on a big map or something. You play on two separate games.
It's like Chip's A, Cory's B. A plays A, B plays B, right?
Yep. Okay. And the pricing is, so first place, it's a case to both participants. So if Cory and I win it, Cory gets a case, I get a case. Second place is a brick each. and then 5 boosters each for 3rd and 4th, and then I think that's pretty much the breakdown.
That is a lot of product.
It's a lot of product. Actually, it's a huge amount of product. It's $30 per participant, so $60 per team to enter, which is reasonable, we feel like, especially for what the set is that you're winning. Because
it's a more expensive set.
Yeah. So last year it was $25. We had to raise it to make up the difference in cost. That being said, last year we got close to 30 people. This year we're expecting 30 plus.
30 people or 30 teams?
30 people. 30 people. Okay. But the tournament's grown. The word of mouth has grown. It was such an awesome event last year. Lunch is provided by Gun Guy. Yeah. They go we're still in the works of what we're gonna have. We would like to have a food cart there, but nothing set in stone.
Taco truck.
Yeah, taco truck. Hey man, you got good taco trucks. Yeah. But normally we've done like Costco hot dogs, Costco pizza. Yeah. You're still getting fed. Mm-hmm. There's always other little perks too with playing at Gun Guy. This year, just to incentivize people to show up early, come out, check out what Gun Guy is, we're running a barbecue win-a-map. So your $10 entry is going to get you 2 sliders. I'm going to smoke up. We might see 20 people for this event, plus for the barbecue alone. So I'm going to do 3 butts on my smoker, pork butts on my smoker. And we're going to do pulled pork sliders. So your entry is going to get you 2 pulled pork sliders, a side, and entry into a win-a-map.
So, that's pretty good.
And that's going to be the night before.
Yeah, that's the 27th. So
what day is it?
So September 27th will be the barbecue win-a-map. That kicks off at 7 p.m. The actual tournament will start at 8 p.m. So it's a late night thing, so people can come travel, have something to do. Next day, the 28th, September 28th, is the 2v2 for the win-a-case.
So you get that King's Tomb map.
Yep. Yeah.
Damn, sounds like I need to plan a vacation.
Dude, man. Not only do you get King's Tomb, but we're actually going to throw in some additional prizing in there. And you get fed. And I got another guy that said he wants to provide 5 homemade cheesecakes. So for dessert.
Whoa.
So I mean, this is a community, man. This is what competitive play is.
Yeah. Cheesecake's my favorite, guys.
Support that. The second best barbecuer on the team, providing enough meat for everybody.
Get up there.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw what you did there. Cute.
Yeah, that all sounds really good. I think Jesse's heading up there to go play. That's a pretty late notice for me, but otherwise I might have to plan something for next year if you guys repeat. That would be pretty good.
Oh, we'll repeat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want Chip's butt though.
Oh, it's supposed to be Northwest.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's
Let's
right.
talk about format.
Yeah, you do the format.
So, it's a format that we invented for the 2v2. It's called Pacific Northwest Restricted. It's no ID cards, no objects. I think that's all the limitations now, basically.
Retaliators.
No resources. Retaliators are still allowed. Special terrain is still allowed.
No equip on builds.
Yes. So, but no special objects, equipment anymore. No ID cards. And so the idea is to change up the format, and just not having ID cards and not having objects changes things a ton. Like Kobik is just about useless now in that format.
Yeah, it's to change up from. It's not a WizKids or Rock sanctioned event. It's our own event, so we don't have to stick to 300 modern. And from what I've been seeing on the interwebs, people are getting a little burnt out of 300 modern. People are looking for an alternative format to play in a competitive tournament, and I think we're doing that.
Yeah, and Pacific Northwest Restricted gives a very different meta scene compared to playing like the Pauper format that's spread around, because it still gives you a wider spread of pieces, but you'll definitely see changes in what's efficient in the format.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the biggest complaint is retaliator spam, I think.
Yeah.
But I think you just plan for it, you know?
Yeah. If you're a good builder, you're gonna be able to factor all that stuff in. Like, it's not gonna be that difficult. But yeah, you can still play like your favorite stuff still. Like, I feel like.
this has nothing to do with tournament promotion, but I just don't get the complaint about retaliator spam. Like, you can read the MySpace of Heroclix, HC Realms, and like people will talk about how bad retaliators are, and I'm always like, man, if I see 100 points of retaliators on my opponent's team, I am so happy, because that's just like, all right, let's run across the board and start blinking, because I'm gonna take a lot of points for not a lot of effort.
I think for me, I've been playing since 2004, and like, so for me, like, I enjoy all formats of the game. Don't get me wrong, but I think retaliators bring to the game something that like I don't think the game's designed well enough to support, because you can go through all the effort and positioning and ID cards to some degree also, positioning and all this and that, and then all of a sudden this character doesn't care about positioning, doesn't care about anything else that's going on. He just goes across the map and makes an attack. I'm not saying I think people shouldn't play retaliators, but I generally support what you said, Bryan. Like, yeah, I'm gonna kill some free stuff. You tell me these only have one click, that's awesome. But like at the same point, like, I shouldn't ever have to worry about like, you shot me and you took a Mystics, and now this guy can come across and wipe out my whole team in one turn. Like, that's kind of stupid.
That's feeling a little too close for comfort here, Aaron. I don't know anybody who would run what you're talking about right now, bud.
Yeah, what are you talking
Well,
about?
that's been a thing since Thor came out. Mangog's been able to do that since Thor came out. I've seen it done. I've done it myself. My favorite thing is locally to shoot somebody who has Mystics and then retaliate on them, and then have a 15-minute argument about why I can do that. That's my favorite thing to do locally. That's sarcasm. So,
You're just one of those power-hungry judges with everybody in your pocket.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, I ran 6 months of a win a map league, and we do what we call 300 Modern Limited. It's very similar to what ROC's limited format was. I do allow special objects. We don't allow special terrain. We do allow map location bonuses, but there's no ID cards. There's nothing larger than a peanut base, so like a 1x2, and then no resources. It's pretty fun. It's worked out pretty well. I also do what I call a champions rule. So if you won in January with Unimind, we'll just say Unimind and all the sideline stuff, you can no longer field those figures for the rest of the league. So
is that just the person who won, or is that
just the person who won?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't ruin it for everyone, right? But it does prevent like Joe Schmo from running Unimind 6 months in a row and win. Granted, it's not that easy to win anymore with Unimind, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. My only concern about a format like that is what keeps people from just spamming the last team that won.
At least it's somebody new.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It's like, I was worried about that too, but nobody won with anything that somebody else won with.
Well, that's cool. Huh.
And what was really cool too is, so the way that I structured the league points, I put an emphasis on games played rather than games won.
Mm-hmm.
So a game played will give you 1 full point. A game won would give you a half point, and every 100 points you scored would give you a half point. and then and then I didn't count top cut for the games played or the games scored or the games won, but I did give 1 bonus point for an event win. So you can come. So we had like Robert Gallagher. He came months. He missed the first 2 months, and he almost won the league because he won months 3, 4, and 5. So he got the 3 bonus points, and he scored a lot of points. But in the end, we had Randy won. The only event he won was the last month, but he scored like a lot of points throughout, and he even missed a month and still managed to win the league. So, and the guy that got second place, he pretty much just went 2-1 every month, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. But he showed up every month, and he only lost by like 2 points. So if he had a couple games where he had wiped instead of won like 100-50, he would have won the league. So I think the structure of the league was pretty good as far as that goes.
Sounds solid.
I have to send you the documentation.
Yes. Yeah, please do.
I actually have a whole big old thing written up. It's ridiculous. So I don't have a lot of questions left for you guys today. It's just kind of just like a special bonus episode. Wanted to have you guys on because I haven't had you guys on before. We haven't been having a lot of guests lately. We had Kenny last week, and Aries is he's off doing his thing in Connecticut, running WKO. I thought he was playing, but I guess he's running it.
Nice coward.
He's a coward.
Good old-
That's why I judge. I can't win anymore, so I just judge.
Listen, I just have to give it back to Aries a little bit for the whole fat Indiana Jones thing. So
I mean, do you ever wear like a fedora or something, or like some kind of like?
to a tournament that I placed top 8 in.
Yeah, he's got a new picture up on the old Facebook. So
Jeez.
Yeah, now I have a bandana over my face on my profile on Facebook. So
join that Eaglecast podcast page and you'll see it.
Well, the funny thing is, he didn't know it was you.
I know. Yeah. Like, yeah, you guys have fat Indiana Jones up there. Like, bro, that's a cowboy hat.
And at least you're like, proportioned. You're proportioned, Aries is like, he's a little short white guy. It's like it's like a tuna can, short and white. I'm just kidding. I love you, Aries. You're my guy. Well, I'll tell you guys, thanks for coming on. I see. What are you guys drinking right there? What was the beer of the episode? Let's see.
We got Tang.
Tang.
That's from Trapdoor. We got three-way. What three-way did you guys end up with? Idaho 7. And then the good old Rainier.
Pacific Northwest Water, Rainier beer.
Nice. I am not drinking because I'm hungover. I got wasted yesterday. So.
Hey, sorry, Aaron. Before you go, Gun Guy Games, check them out. Put Eagles 5 in it.
Eagles 5 at checkout saves you 5% on all of your Heroclix purchases.
Why Eagles 5? Because there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
I wish I had known that when I made my purchase from Gun Guy Games, but I was very pleased with the purchase. It was packaged and very well, shipped very quick, and very reasonably costed as it was. So, yeah. Thanks, guys, for coming on. We're going to wrap up. Cory, any last words? No. Any first words? No. Chip?
For those listening for the first time, check out, first off, check out our discussion page. Join it.
Eaglecast Heroclix podcast discussion group.
Yep. And then also, if you're really wanting to know what the tournament scene is like in the Pacific Northwest, check out Heroclix Cascadia on the Facebooks. We do post all the events that we're running on that page. So,
but join the Eaglecast page first.
Yeah, join the Eaglecast page first.
Or don't.
No, you really should though. That's where all the entertaining stuff is.
And Gun Guy rules.
I don't know. Cascadia is pretty entertaining.
It has its moments.
There's a lot of very special people that post on there sometimes. All right. Well, thanks guys again for coming on. We're gonna wrap it up. Again, go check out the Eaglecast. You guys are on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, iTunes,
SoundCloud,
Google Play,
iTunes,
Stitcher. Basically anywhere you want it.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Remember, the real fun begins when you're 2 clicks from KO.
Get wrecked, nerd!
Get wrecked, nerds! Get wrecked, nerds!